guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It is Carabao Cup final time as on Sunday Liverpool take on Chelsea at Wembley with the Carabao Cup on the line between these two teams. It's been a long journey to get to the final, but we are finally all there. It's all coming to a head on Sunday. But before we get into the analysis of the game, the prediction of the game, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. But now let's talk about this big final coming up on Sunday. It is a big final. It's always a big game whenever Liverpool and Chelsea play. Regardless of what your opinion is of the Carabao Cup final, I personally think that this Sunday could be a very exciting and very intriguing fixture indeed, regardless of whether it's the Carabao Cup or not. The first piece of silverware this season, domestically anyway, is up for grabs in the form of the Carabao Cup. It feels a little weird to have this final of this competition and not talk about Manchester City because, of course, in recent years, Manchester City have been heavily involved in winning this competition. They've done so in the past 4 consecutive years, but this season is a little different because it's being contested by 2 completely different teams. In the blue corner, we have Chelsea. In the red corner, we have Liverpool. A much heated rivalry in the Premier League with a lot of history behind it, made even more exciting by the fact that obviously this time around the winner will not only get bragging rights over the other, but will also get a trophy at the end of it. It just adds another extra layer, another extra spice to this encounter, to this fixture. And of course, as we know, no one wants to lose the final. Like I say, regardless of what you think about the Carabao Cup, no one wants to lose this game. No one wants to lose the final. Both teams come into this final in fine form. Chelsea still riding high off becoming world champions a few weeks ago, picking up wins, of course, in the Premier League and in the Champions League since their return from that competition as well. And they'll be looking to add a 6th League Cup to their trophy cabinet, whilst Liverpool have been in strong and somewhat devastating form in recent weeks, which has seen Liverpool cut the lead on Premier League leaders Manchester City to just 3 points in recent games as they go in search of their record 9th League Cup triumph. Something significant because, of course, like I mentioned, with Manchester City's recent success and constant success in this tournament, it has seen City equal Liverpool's record of 8 League Cups. So Liverpool want to go one step further and reclaim that sole main, obviously, title winners in this competition with 9. But if I can use a rather old cliche, when it comes to derbies, when it comes to cup finals, form goes completely out the window. This is just a complete showdown in a cup final about who wants it more. I mean, obviously, we're going to find out on Sunday. In the past 2 meetings that these 2 teams have had this season, both have ended in a draw. The first being a 1-1 draw right at the beginning of the season. The second being when Liverpool threw away a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 last month, I believe. Both were highly entertaining. Both were very intriguing games in their own ways, with some top quality football on display from both teams and some quality goals as well. Mateo Kovacic's goal in particular sticks out in my mind as to being a goal straight out the top drawer. But of course, on Sunday, it cannot end in a draw, whether it's across 90 minutes, whether it's across 120 minutes, because extra time will be played in this final, or whether it goes down to the lottery of a penalty shootout. One team will win, the other will lose. For Thomas Tuchel's side, it's a chance to keep up his impressive trophy collecting since obviously arriving at the Blues over a year ago. Since then, of course, he's gone on to win the Champions League, he's gone on to win the Super Cup and the Club World Cup, with the only blemish on his record being, of course, the FA Cup final defeat to Leicester City last season. Whilst for Jurgen Klopp, it's a chance to add more silverware to his and Liverpool's growing collection, of course. The red squad is the strongest it has been in God knows how long. And with Liverpool going strong on multiple fronts this season, the possibilities for more awards, for more achievements, for more accolades of this red squad, and obviously possibly silverware at the end of it, are very strong indeed for this team to accomplish this season. And not only that, but if Jurgen Klopp is wanting to be known as one of the best managers in the Premier League, or even the best manager in Liverpool's history, he's going to have to add more trophies to the trophy cabinet, and this will be a good continuation of that from, of course, the Champions League and Premier League titles that Liverpool have obviously won in their recent history. Adding more trophies like this will obviously boost Klopp's argument, and that's just a good thing for him, a good thing for Liverpool, and a good thing for their fans as well. For Chelsea, the big question here going into the game is whether or not they will start their striker Romelu Lukaku. The troubled striker hasn't really got going this season since his big money move from Inter Milan in the summer. Not to the extent that Chelsea fans would have liked him to have got along with anyway. He's had a bit of a stop-start season due to injuries and COVID, I grant you that. But after the bizarre interview that he conducted in December, that didn't help things, and obviously with his recent performances as well, outside of the Club World Cup, because that's where he seemed to flourish in that tournament. The Crystal Palace one in particular sticks out in my mind. That was incredibly poor, and it would just be a question of whether he starts on Sunday or not. He was dropped for the midweek game that Chelsea had in the Champions League against Lille, and arguably you could say that Chelsea actually looked better. Now, whether that was due to Romelu Lukaku being dropped, or whether that was due to the level of opposition that Chelsea were playing in the form of the French side Lille, is debatable. It's debatable. But if he isn't playing, it's likely that a certain Kai Havertz will start as a false number 9, a false striker. And of course, he's been the man for the big occasions for Chelsea recently. He got the winning goal in both the Champions League and the Club World Cup final. And so that is obviously a selection headache for Thomas Tuchel to have, but it seems like it might be a good one. Other selection headaches might include whether or not to bring Jorginho back into the midfield, and also whether or not Timo Werner might get a shout in this game, along with who will start in goal for Chelsea. Tuchel has the opportunity to obviously keep his regular goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy, but it seems that Kepa Arrizabalaga has also come good in this tournament as well, and he may be in with a shout of starting on Sunday over the regular goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy. For Liverpool, it's a squad full of options going into this one. A lot of selection headaches for Jurgen Klopp to consider. The big shout for Klopp will obviously be the goalkeeper situation. Kieran Kelleher has been the cup goalkeeper this season, and it seems that Klopp's going to keep his faith and his loyalty with the 23-year-old goalkeeper for Sunday over the regular goalkeeper, Alisson Becker. You'd imagine the back four pretty much picks itself as it usually does, with Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk at the heart of the defence, and Andy Robertson at left back. Like I say, pretty much picks itself. You can argue that maybe Ibrahima Konate can come in for Matip, but I think with the form that Matip is in right now, who I honestly will reiterate and state again, I believe to be the most underrated centre-back in the Premier League, I think that pretty much picks itself. In the midfield three, I'd expect Liverpool to go with their strongest midfield three of Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Thiago Alcantara, the strongest possible midfield three. You do have options coming off the bench, so it does add to that, but I would expect Jurgen Klopp to go with that midfield three. Whilst up front, of course, you have to play Mohamed Salah on the right for obvious reasons. I'd expect Sadio Mane to start from left, and he can either go with Luis Diaz as maybe up front, or maybe he can swap Diaz to the left and Mane up front like he did a little bit against Leeds in midweek. Or, you know, you could go with Takumi Minamino. Either's possible. Diaz has obviously hit the ground running since his arrival in January and has done really well. Minamino has been a player that's been used a lot in this competition, and maybe if he is going to stick with Kelleher, maybe he might feel that he needs to stick with Minamino as well, because obviously we know that Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino are facing races against time to be fit with this game. Jota's more likely to at least make the bench over Firmino, but of course only time will tell on that. And of course, like I say, Liverpool have got a lot of options from the bench, particularly in that midfield area, to try and change the game should it not be going well for them. I think overall though, I'm expecting a game of high quality. I think what we saw from these two teams in their past two meetings was suggested that this game was going to be another high quality top draw encounter between these two sides. And of course, you add with it that it is a cup final, you add the rivalry, the well-documented history, it all blends together for this perfect recipe of what should be an absolute great match in store for us on Sunday. And let's face it, whichever way the result goes for the team that wins, this could be a big boost to whichever club wins on Sunday, and it could help them shape their season going forward. Remember, it's not just Liverpool that are competing on multiple fronts, but Chelsea are as well. It could be a massive boost to either one of these sides to go on and really achieve something big, even bigger than just a Carabao Cup this season. As far as the prediction goes, the midfield battle will obviously be key. I know, again, it sounds a bit cliche when I say that, but it will be definitely a big part of this game. You know, the likes of Kante, Kovacic, or Kante, Jorginho in the Chelsea midfield, battling the likes of Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago in the Reds midfield. You know, it's going to be, it's going to have to be one of those games where either side's got to be on it from the first whistle to the last. They can't give anything up in this game if they want to win this trophy. I have full confidence, obviously coming from a Liverpool fan's point of view, that Thiago and Fabinho in particular can control that midfield battle. But it's going to be tough because, as we know, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, whatever combination of those two that Chelsea decide to play, because it's likely to be a two, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough for them to do that. Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to have to be on form. He's going to have to be accurate with his passing and his crossing. Robertson, bombing down that left-hand side, will obviously have to be a bit cautious to contain Hakim Ziyech, because he's a guy that for Chelsea's picked up some good form in recent weeks. Sadio Mane should be full of confidence after not only winning African Cup of Nations recently, but also scoring a brace midweek against Leeds. You've got Luis Diaz, who offers a little bit something special and a little bit of unpredictability for Liverpool, having come in recently. Virgil van Dijk looks back to his perfect best. Joel Matip, in my opinion, like I say, is one of the most underrated, or the most underrated centre-back in the Premier League. And of course, what can I say about Mohamed Salah that hasn't been already said this season? He's simply phenomenal. And overall, I think Liverpool have a very, very, very good chance of winning this game. Having said that though, Chelsea do have threats of their own. Of course, it's not all going to be one-sided. It is pretty much the toss of a coin as to which way this trophy will end up going home come Sunday night. You know, Lukaku may not be in great form, but of course he could still pop up and cause some problems and score a couple of goals here and there. He's not one to be underestimated by any means. Like I say, Kai Havertz, the man for the big occasions for Chelsea in recent history. Hakim Ziyech has been in good form in recent weeks. Christian Pulisic is obviously a danger. Timo Werner and Callum Hudson-Odoi's pace could cause problems on the counter-attack. Kante is an absolute battler in midfield, of course, an absolute general in the middle of the pitch. Mateo Kovacic, pretty underrated in my opinion, and also Chelsea from set pieces are a big threat as well. So there will be many aspects of this Chelsea squad and how they play that Liverpool will of course have to be wary and cautious about. But like I said, overall it should make for a very, very intriguing game in store for us. Overall though, I think Liverpool will get the job done, regardless of how long that game goes on. I think Liverpool will lift the Carabao Cup for a record 9th time come the end of the game in their history. But I'm expecting it to be one hell of a game. I'm expecting it to be one hell of a match at Wembley on Sunday. And I think if I'm forced to give a prediction, I am going to go for Liverpool to win it in added time, and I'm expecting the score to be 2-1 come the final whistle, with Mohamed Salah getting the winning goal. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, and most of all, of course, predictions from this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the Carabao Cup final coming up this weekend? What are your own thoughts, your comments, and most of all, your predictions on the game in store for us on Sunday? I'd love to know them all down in the comment section below, because I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Playthings always have to be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.